So this is the July koha-US web dev meeting. So I guess I can start. I've been working on adding some icons to my OPAC for collection codes. That's not one of the standard things you can just, well, it is one of the standard things you can add in Koha, but I didn't like the option. So I wanted to use some custom code or custom images and stuff. So I can show what it looks like. And then I have put up what I've done in GitHub in case anybody else wants to use the icons or look at the code. So let me get my screen. And it's a little bit convoluted at this point, but it worked. So that's what matters, right? Okay, I lost it. Okay, so here's my OPAC. And what I did was swapped out all of these images. It's taken a second to load. So I swapped out the images that are there right now for images that I made myself. And then I added a little code to change the color of the icons whenever you select them. So it gives a little feedback and gives a cleaner presentation, I think. And also some of the icons, like I wanted a library of things icon that actually represented what's kind of in our collections. And so there aren't a lot of great options in the defaults. And you can't use remote images on collection codes. And I think that's what I was getting at. So like if we look at the authorized values, and edit one of these. My only options are using what's here. Whereas like if we go over to item types, I can actually designate a remote image to put in. So I had to use jQuery to bring those images to the surface. Lucas set it up so that we could use the file upload similar to how George does on his scrolling banner on his OPAC. So I'm not having to, that's not that one. I'm not having to pull those in from a remote source anymore, which was causing a lag in the images loading. So they do generally load faster than what you just saw there. But the problem I ran into is before I had two images. I had AB, which was the blue, and then AB2, which was the green. And I was using jQuery to append and take off that too, so that the icon would change colors. I couldn't do that because of the hash values. So my code is a lot bulkier than it was before. And it's OPAC, not internet. So this is what it looks like now. So it's there's a little, nope, it's all this. So we're looking only at advanced search, and then it's picking each one of those things, replacing the existing image with the new image. So you can see those hashes are in there. And then what I did instead was so there's two separate images here. There's an icon layered on top of a circle. And so I'm just changing the color of the circle with CSS that's in the background, which was a fun pain to figure out. So you can see in each of these, it's replacing the existing image both with that top layer, and the second layer is the circle. So that the circle is the same in each one, but the top layer image is different. And then down here is where it changes the background color. And that's just looking at the check. Like if it's checked, it applies the class, I think. Yeah. So it applies the CSS class of colorized green. And there's a little bit of CSS that goes along with it to make that work. And that is probably buried in here. So I had to do some, so this is the class that turns it green. And then I had to do a little massaging as far as padding and that sort of stuff to get it to look nice how I wanted it to look. So I think it turned out pretty nice. I still want to add it in the staff client as well, but the underlying HTML on the staff client is slightly different, so I can't just like directly port the code over. So that's kind of next on my list. But like I said, this is all in my GitHub. If you want to download the images, you can. I did convert to SVGs just so they're scalable and they look a lot clearer and cleaner.
Yeah, SVG is awesome.
Yeah.
They're a pain in the ass to create, though.
I'm getting pretty
my
good
experience.
At it. I feel like I'm getting pretty good at it. I don't know, maybe that's humble brag.
So in the authorized values table, there is a place for the remote URL, but you just can't add it through the interface in the authorized. When you're creating collection codes, there isn't a way to add those images.
But they
because
can be added at the database level, is that what you're saying?
yeah, and actually there's a hacky way that I've done it, a really hacky way. So I don't have it, I don't think I have it turned on right now. It's a super hack. I mean, it's just a bizarre, I came up with it, and so so you guys should see my JavaScript, right?
Yep.
Okay. So what I did is I used JavaScript so that when you're creating a collection code, if you select this very last one in liblime kids, I've got JavaScript here that points that to a specific image. So it replaces the value that's already there with whatever value you want to plug in there. And so it's just the very last one on the liblime kids. The problem with it, of course, is that if I go to edit anything that has, so like I know that I have, let me go back to, let me cancel this. So I've added like an image for Battle of the Books. They wanted a collection code called Battle of the Books. So I found this picture of a tank. And if I go in here and edit this now, I have to make sure that if I change the name of it, if I change anything in the authorized values, I have to make sure that I click on this and that I change my jQuery to point that image back to what I want it to be from that Battle of the Books image. So I need to cancel this now before I screw up the Battle of the Books image. So that's the drawback, is that once you add those to the thing, you've got to, if you ever want to make a change to that collection code, you've got to go in there and make sure that when you do the change, that you select that one and point it to the right thing. I'm sure there's a better way to do it, but it successfully, I managed to. I did it for, let me go to my OPAC and share that. If you go to the advanced search, I was able to add a whole bunch of collection code images, like for Nintendo 3DS and the Wii and the Wii U. Almost all of my video games, I've got images in there now that are the like product images from those game systems. And then I was able to do, Bicycle and Battle of the Books. I think Bicycle was the first one I did it with, where I just went into like Microsoft Paint and just drew a bicycle. and then that was when I first figured it out. But that's the big drawback to doing it that way. I think at some point, I think there's a bug out there in Bugzilla for allow this interface to, since there is the place in the database for remote images to, I mean, all that authorized values interface needs is a place where you can specify a remote image.
I think this is master, but I'm pretty sure in 2205 this will be there.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Then I can fix all those. I can make sure that I can do it without having to do that hack. But that was the hacky thing I came up with like maybe a year ago, that I've never really shown anybody because it's a really pain in the ass hack. So what I'm hearing, Jason, is you just have to be patient.
Yeah, I'm not. You know, I need that instant gratification.
Well, the code I used is in the link there. So
Yeah, and it wouldn't work for my mess of a setup now because I have two images stacked on top
yeah,
of each other.
that's that would be the drawback there.
I could, I mean, it would remove a chunk of the code, I guess, if it's all living there and I just need the circles, then I don't need the, I have to think about that.
Yeah. The one issue I found with the SVG files, especially like that Battle of the Books one, is in the authorized values table. That was an issue. Is that the actual image like comes up this big on the screen? I had to put some restraints on the size of it because I don't know how to change the size, the default display size of the SVG files. I'm sure there's a way to do that.
Is your friend.
What?
It's open source. Inkscape is
Inkscape,
your friend.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've used Inkscape a little bit. It's
there's a learning curve.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's the phrase I was looking for, was learning curve.
Yeah.
Because it is. There's a learning curve.
Oh, what else do we got? You got anything you're working on, Barbara?
Well, I can show you. Do you see my OPAC? Yep. Covers. So that's what we've been working on, and I've got it live now, and seems to be working really well. This is what my presentation will be on at the conference. I've got my tabs. There's another stupid image I want to go away. That's frustrating. I can take those out temporarily, but I hate seeing them.
The no image.
Yeah. I just been going into the report. I just get the bib number and go into the report and then say, don't show that one.
I got some, I think I have some. This works when the cover flow is static like yours is. I have some CSS that will work. I was messing with it the other day. I'll pass it over to you.
Nice. That would be cool. So it's, you know, I think it's working pretty well. We've got all our different collections and looks pretty. The youth staff is especially excited because we've got it divided by, you know, age levels and highlighting all kinds of stuff, and being summer reading club and everything, just, you know, being able to highlight a lot of stuff in their collections. And then I guess the other thing is this big lag, which bothers me before the image loads. And it's not probably something that irritates other people, but it irritates me that it doesn't load as fast. But the biggest problem seems to be with, let me do it this way. Digital images, and I seem to be afflicted by lots of lag for some reason right now. I do not know why, but so if I go into an overdrive, I'm waiting and waiting, and it will eventually load, but I'm not quite sure why the digital images are taking, that was never a problem before, so I'm not sure what's going on there. There it is.
It's a long time. Where's
That's
that
a
image
long-
coming from?
Overdrive. Because it's coming from, well, no, I guess it's a synthetics image still. Yeah, it's still a synthetics image.
One thing to do is like open your inspector, go to the network tab, reload everything, sort of look at how the assets are loading and see what's taking so long to load. So if you just go
To
inspect, like click somewhere and then hit inspect.
just like up in here, or
Yeah, anywhere on the page, it doesn't matter.
and then reload it.
There should be, is this Chrome or
This is Chrome.
do we not see your inspector? Because
Well, this is what I usually use. So
Yeah, we can't see the little window that popped up.
yeah,
It's like
Oh.
highlighting like you're in it, but we can't see the.
okay,
other
so
part.
I'm not sure how to show it so you can see it.
we cannot.
Is
We
there a
just
way that
see-
is there a way that I can make it so you can see it?
Are you sharing your whole screen or just this Chrome window? You might be able to share your whole screen and we'll do it.
Maybe. Okay, let me do.
Also, if it's not docked, that might affect it. I'm not sure.
If it's what?
Do you have it docked at the bottom of the screen? Or is it
No,
like,
I have it as a pop-up.
you might be able to dock it and that would show it, but I'm not sure. Yeah, now we can see it.
Okay.
Now there's a network tab, fourth over. And then I do not use Chrome developer tools very
It's a
often.
Control R. That'll reload the page.
And now you see we get in a big list of assets. Maybe you pull that up a little bit. Can you scroll up? Did it load that image?
Finally, yeah.
Okay, and then
Let me do it again.
yeah. And I have it up too. It looks like maybe the image is just not loading in Firefox. What's taking the longest looks like opac detail.pl bib number. So it's probably JavaScript in the template in Koha.
I'm seeing something that says opac generic.jpg, which
Yep,
was
that
like
looks like something's, it's pointed at media.bywatersolutions.com, which is a decommissioned media server. So whatever that is, we should probably get rid of it.
Okay.
And that is an asset called opac generic.jpg. Let's take a look. I don't think that would be the problem though. Yeah, but it looks like something for check overdrive libby for available is using that. Let's just see if we can find that. Maybe it's being inserted by JavaScript. Yeah, there's a line there, which I'm just going to comment out for a sec so we don't get that resource not loading. Let's just try one more time, see if that's at all. I kind of doubt it.
I would add that on my end, I'm on your same page, Barbara, with that same book open.
Mhm.
For me, it loads like that. On this computer that I'm on, it's not, there's no lag at all, hardly.
Is that Chrome, George?
No, it's Firefox, a much superior product. So.
And also, is it cached for you?
No, I did a hard reload.
Okay. As I am, I've had it open for about a minute now and I'm not getting the image. Of course, I do, if you go to your console, I do see a type error.
What kind of error?
So if you click from network, go over to console to see if you see the same error as me related to a mutation observer. Yep.
I never know how to interpret these things when I see them.
So something's probably, I'm looking, so we're using JavaScript, probably odd JavaScript because, oh, there it finally showed up for me. Took more than a minute, more than 2 minutes. But and this is probably my JavaScript. When we have two images, one loaded by, I don't know, Syndetics or and Baker and Taylor, any of that stuff, and another one maybe a local image. I've written JavaScript that will look to make sure if it sees to do some logic and remove one of them, usually the Syndetics image in favor of the local cover image. But it's a mutation observer because let's see, like Syndetics or Baker and Taylor have their own JavaScript in Koha that loads an image. So if you just try to do regular JavaScript on the page, it won't see the image. You don't see it in the page source. So you have to do this mutation observer where we wait for the other JavaScript to load. And when it does, then we do stuff and perform logic, right? I'm guessing that we're caught in some kind of loop. So let's see where mutation. So what we could do real quick to test, I think, is go to your JavaScript. And it has my name on it, so let's just comment that out for a sec. 2 images might load, but let's just see if they load fast. So go ahead.
Reload this page.
Yeah.
So I also tried it in Firefox and I'm getting the same thing there.
Oop, let's try. There's mutation observers like that on the results and detail page. I commented out only one. So now try. Sorry, Barbara.
No problem.
At least the console error's gone, but for me, it's still not loading. So maybe I'm just wrong and wasting everybody's time. Sorry.
And I hadn't opened a ticket on this specifically, so I can still do that.
Yeah, maybe that's the best way to go. I'm going to put your stuff back in because that doesn't seem to be the problem.
It looks like the copy availability stuff, that link in that copies tab doesn't load in until the image does either. So it's almost like it's their end isn't sending it back to you in a timely manner.
Yeah, I've got a broken.
Yeah, that's that OPAC generic thing.
That's the OPAC generic. Okay, thank you.
And now it's loading instantaneously for me.
Better. For sure.
Better. So I took out 2 more of those calls to the Bywater media server, which doesn't exist anymore.
Still a little slow, but certainly not 20 seconds. Much improved. Nice. Thank you.
So, and it looks like those are related to some online resources. There's just a generic OPAC generic.jpg picture that is gone. So all we would have to do to fix that is find that image. Oh, and I think I found it. So I can go, I'll just go replace that for you. It looks like that's helping a little bit. So
Cool.
Yay for the Wayback Machine. Still had a copy of that.
I did through cataloging yesterday, I did notice, and I opened a ticket on this one. I was cataloging Baldacci's new book, 620 Man, and it's 6:20. So if you do that, and it's both staff and OPAC, I have bibs in there for both the regular print and the large print, but it doesn't find it.
Are you using Elasticsearch?
Yes.
Feel like that's a bug.
And I thought, well, maybe it'll still get it by 6:20, and it didn't. It will now because I added that in as an alternate title. But the bibs exist, but it's not being able to handle that colon, I guess. So that was interesting.
Yeah, I ran into that exact same problem. I've been searching it by the man Baldacci, and then I have to sort by publication date.
Yeah.
There's more
Yeah.
than one the man Baldacci.
I had that same problem when we switched to Elasticsearch, and I'd forgotten about it because I used this code so that every time that somebody inputs a colon into the search box, it replaces it with a dash. And I think I did that, or maybe not exactly that, but I might have done something similar in the OPAC. Or that might not have been necessary in the OPAC, I don't know. Oh, no, I did it in the OPAC too. Just took a second to find it.
What was that search you were doing, Barbara?
620 man.
620 man.
Yeah, what I found is any search with a colon.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's a bug on it. On
Yeah, I was
Bugzilla.
looking, can't find it off the, I feel like I've seen that bug.
Well, I'm looking in my RT tickets because I'm pretty sure I.
The one I just put in chat talks about converting the colon into an equals. Not related. George, have you done anything to like facilitate fuzzy searching in Elasticsearch?
No.
I've considered making it like a toggle-y thing where you click a little toggle that then inserts the character you need. 'Cause that's like the biggest thing that we lost with Elastic is people are getting a lot less results because they're not good at searching. So having some way to be like, spell check this word easily, or I'm not sure about this word, put in the tilde, would be nice.
Honestly, one of the biggest searches we've always had with, or one of the biggest issues we've always had with searches is how bad our cataloging is. Hard to search for something. Yeah, I've seen worse. When I worked at the University of Idaho, somebody had abbreviated John Cheever's name in a field, and so one of the most important works of 20th century American fiction was unsearchable because of a cataloging error, and not because of anything other than somebody thought Cheever was too hard to spell. On the part of a cataloger to make that kind of mistake. So.
I guess the issue that people bring to me is like they don't know whether the word in their title is like a plural or not a plural. And so they think it's one way, and then it's like, why don't we have this? And it's the other way, but it doesn't pick it up. And
yeah, and I made a little handout thingy that we could give to patrons, and that my librarians have of all the little symbols you can use, but it'd be nice to sort of facilitate that a little bit so that they don't have to know what the symbols are.
yeah, because the younger librarians come to me and they're like, can't we make this more like Google? And, it doesn't really find things very well. And I'm kind of like, well, no, we can't make it like Google.
You just copy and paste the Google search bar into your your koha, right? It's easy.
I shared an article with my coworkers about the library where my wife grew up in Bonners Ferry, Idaho, where they've actually had to cancel their board meetings because so many people are showing up at the board meetings, and asking the library to remove books from the collection that it doesn't even own. And so they're starting to say, now they've switched gears into, but you need to also not be able to ILL them. It's gotten to the point where it's violent, but I'm not sure how I got on this topic. But that's the issue that they're having there, is that it's not just that people want what the guy that wrote the article, the conclusion he comes to is they're not really interested in banning these books. They're just interested in shutting down the idea of even having a library. And for some reason or other, when I started talking, I thought there was a relevant point to be made there, but I don't think I ever made the connection.
I think your point is it's a good thing that it's hard to search the catalog, because then they can't find that you have those books they want to ban.
I do have another weird thing that has started happening here. I feel like I'm, got little ghosts or elves doing something. So I was having, in the advanced cataloging editor, when I would click on the title to load it, it was just sporadic, certain titles would take forever to load. So I'm like, what's the deal? So I restarted Koha, I cleared my cache, still had the problem, opened a ticket, Todd restarted Plaque and all the other things or whatever. And at first it didn't necessarily seem like it improved, but then it did. But then I realized that every single time I would go, the first record I would do after I'd logged in to go to the, bring it up, it would load in the basic editor. And I didn't pick up on it at first because I had cleared my cache, and I know that's gonna reset it all the time. But I now know that every single time I log out, even though I have the advanced editor enabled, when I log in and go to that first record, it presents me with the basic editor, and I have to switch, and it'll retain it for the session. But once I log out again, I have to set it, even though the system preference is enabled. So that's kind of weird. And I have a ticket open on it. It's like, I feel like if there's little gremlins here doing things weird and making things slow. And
It's looking through Bugzilla. I see C3950 import goes to basic editor even when advanced is enabled.
And it only started about 2 days ago or something. This wasn't something that happened right after our upgrade or anything.
Oh,
So I don't know.
do you know if you received a smaller upgrade last 2 days?
Not that I know
I
of,
don't
but
think so.
I sometimes don't always know when those occur, but let me see. I'm still on 21.11.05.
5.
Mhm.
Yeah. Huh. I don't see anything exactly like that in Bugzilla. Hmm.
And it happens in Firefox too, so it's not just a Chrome thing.
Have you checked your browser history settings to see if it's wiping out cookies when you close the browser or something?
Browser history settings and then what?
I don't know where it's at exactly, but I know there are settings in the cookies and caching stuff that you can set it to when you close the browser, it clears your cookies out.
But if it's happening in both Chrome and Firefox, it's probably unlikely that they both
Yeah.
got changed.
And I did it on my iPad too, now that I come to think of it, so.
Unless those gremlins have their hands on all of your stuff.
They use all the browsers.
It's all, yeah, it's about me, not
Yeah, you're being targeted.
me personally.
Thanks, George.
Yeah. Well, that's a weird one. But it did start working faster after Todd restarted things. So at least there's that, because I was having a big lag in records, you know, even loading. And some of them they wouldn't load at all. That you just get the spinning and they would never load. And that's better. So I'd rather have that fixed.
We haven't upgraded yet, so I don't have any sort of fun, weird things from that.
When are you planning to upgrade?
Ours is on August 8th.
We are seems like a very quiet upgrade in terms of new tickets and problems and stuff. So
That's good news.
yeah, that's great news.
Hello.
Hi.
We're kind of winding down and running out of topics here. Do we have anything else we want to talk about? Did you have any questions, Sunita?
I got nothing.
Lucas, are you going to present your cool little pop-up windowy thing on the OPAC for the covers?
I have to decide what all I'm going to present on. The presentation is going to be sort of like empowering patrons via the OPAC. That's the title, but I don't know all what things I'll be talking about, but that might potentially make it. Yeah.
Cool.
You've been using that a little bit on your test server. I know there's some problems you pointed out, which I've never gotten back around to messing with. But,
Yeah, it works. And then I'm trying to think back, sometimes it would kind of get stuck and
yeah, I remember. So I know that.
either not do something or do some flashing of like, trying to load, that kind of thing. I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, I think what happens is it gets stuck when I go to a mark record and I try to get like the summary from whatever mark field that is, and it doesn't exist for a certain record, and you try to press on that one, it kind of like, it gets the JavaScript all confused. I would like to just move everything in there to inside of the controller in the plugin, so we don't have to use JavaScript to pull those out. But I haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really cool. And it also seemed like it was, things would work pretty well for like the first, I don't know, 5, 6, 7. And then it would feel like that's when those problems would start coming in.
I'll show it too, just
It's pretty cool.
I have it up on model. So if you click on any title instead of it, and this one it probably doesn't have that mark field stuff, but this one does, with options to place a hold. If you're not logged in, it goes here. Might be nice if it just opened the modal. I was thinking, right? What do you guys think about that? And then you can go to the detail page too, where we too have a bit of problems with how fast that loads. But that's a Koshi issue, Koshi image. But yeah, see, sometimes now if I click, it gets behind, and well, no, it's there. It does that. So it needs some work.
Yeah, but
It
really,
looks really nice though. Yeah, I think that's definitely value added.
Yeah, now as I try to close it, the modal, it's got like 16 modals right on top of each other. So it's beta phase, I guess.
Well, I guess if we don't have anything else, we did almost make it to the hour mark here, so probably good as time as any to cut it off.
sounds good.
We have another one of these next week, same bad time, same bad channel. Next month.
Next
week.
month, yeah.
I won't be here next week. All right. Thanks everybody.
Ah.
Bye, y'all.